Hi, I'm Scott, your SKS video guy, and today we're going to be doing some upgrades. It's been a year since I built my computer, which I have dubbed Panzer. You can see the video on some of my earlier videos on the initial build of Panzer. So, as to celebrate its 1-year anniversary, I thought, hey, let's do some upgrading to it. So, let's take a look at some of the components that I'm going to be upgrading in Panzer. We start off with the motherboard. The original motherboard that's in there right now is an ASRock TRX40 Creator. We're going to replace that with this one here. This is a Asus ROG Strix TRX40, sort of the next level up motherboard. Next up is the RAM. Panzer currently has 128 gigs of Trident Z DDR4 RAM. So what the heck? Let's add another batch in there of DDR4 RAM, bringing it up to 256 gig. The current video card in Panzer is an Asus GeForce RTX 2080 Ti with 11 gigs of RAM in it. We're going to replace that. We're going to put in this one here. This is an EVGA GeForce RTX 3090 with 24 gigs of RAM, which is more than double the RAM. So now that you've seen all the components, let's get started. We start off by opening up the case, and the first thing that comes out is the video card itself. So we're going to take the GeForce 2080 out. Next is the CPU water cooler block. We'll remove that. Set that off to the side. We then pull out the accessory cards. I next went through and labeled all the cables to make sure I get them all back in place. Once we have all the electrical connections removed and the screws removed from the motherboard, all you have to do is just pull it straight on out, and there it is. Now that we have the motherboard out of the machine and on the bench here, the first thing we're going to take out is the RAM. Next, we're going to remove the M.2 hard drives out of it. There are 2 hard drives in this machine here. First one here is the C drive, we'll take that one out. And the second one here is the video drive. We'll remove that one. CPU is next. We remove the guard. All we have to do is just pop the thing up and slide the CPU out. Like that. Now we have the new motherboard here. All we have to do is reverse the process. So we'll start with the CPU. Hard drives are next. Both M.2 drives are in each of the slots, and we put the cover on. That'll take care of them. Now it's time for the RAM. Now that we have all the base components on the motherboard, it's time to put it down into the machine. We've attached all the cables to the motherboard. We've applied some thermal paste to the CPU, and all we have to do is to attach the cooling block to the CPU and bolt it down. And because you can never have too many lights, I'm going to be putting this Rgb Back Plate for the GPU by A1 Tech. This particular one is the EVGA graphic, but they have hundreds of different graphics, including you can even make one of your own, so that's a pretty cool touch. And the last thing that goes in is the GPU. That just fits down in. It's a little tight, but it does fit right down in there like that. To install the A1 Tech Rgb Back Plate, it's just held on by simple magnets here, which line up with the screws that are on top of the back plate of the GPU. And that just slides in, and the magnets hold it in place like that. Then all you have to do is just plug it into the RGB power port on your motherboard. As you can see, Panzer's back in one piece. All that's left to do is take it over and hook it up to the monitors, download the various drivers, and tune it up, and do some testing. So let's go do that. I finished updating all the drivers, and I reactivated Windows. For whatever reason, Windows likes to be reactivated after you change your motherboard. So how did it turn out? Well, check it out. Look at all the nice glowing green in there. All the RGB is pulsating. I like it a lot. The RAM sticks are glowing. The CPU cooler from Corsair is glowing. The back plate from A1 Tech is glowing. The fans are glowing. Everything is really nice. Panzer's theme is green, so I went with that on it. I also like to thank my friend Terry Lease for helping out with the project. So, does all this make any difference? Well, prior to updating this, I went into DaVinci Resolve and created a 15-minute long 4K video, and I rendered it out. It took it 8 minutes. Then I did the upgrade to it, and I re-rendered that exact same scene again. It only took it 5 minutes and 30 seconds. So a notable improvement. Roughly 3-to-1 real time on it. So that's pretty doggone good. So, what did all this cost us? Well, let's look at the build sheet. We start off with the Asus TRX 40 Mobo, 600 bucks. An additional 128 gigs of G.Skill DDR4 RAM, $667. The A1 Tech Rgb Back Plate, $68. And finally, the EVGA RTX 3090 graphics card coming in at $2,570 for a total of $3,905. That is a fair amount of money. I think that if I'd have done the same build a year ago, it would have been a whole lot less. Now, because of the current situations, the miners and all that stuff and the hoarders are causing all these prices like this. But it certainly was a very nice build, and I'm really happy with it. So, and if you're happy with this type of video, hey, give me a thumbs up, like and subscribe to me, and ring that bell to see other videos like this. And until then, we'll see you around.